It's time for Windows Weekly, yet another Windows 10 update. We'll have the details. We'll talk about why some of us don't have Outlook, the new Outlook.com yet. Batterygate, it's over, but here comes Kindlegate. It's all coming up next. Mary Jo Foley, Paul Thurrott, Windows Weekly, right here.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit. Bandwidth for Windows Weekly is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is Windows Weekly, episode 481, recorded Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. Kabinakagami Lake. Windows Weekly is brought to you by Igloo software. Igloo is an intranet you'll actually like. It connects people with the information they need to do their best work. Try it free at igloosoftware.com/twit or sign up for a live demo and see it in action. It's time for Windows Weekly, the show where we cover the latest news from Microsoft with these fabulous people right here. On your right, Mary Jo Foley of allaboutmicrosoft.com, her fabulous ZDNet blog where she breaks the news before it happens, practically.
She's a precog.
She's a precog. Hey, wouldn't that be a useful tool if you were a tech journalist?
Yep. It would.
I see the iPhone 7 has no headphone jack.
Yeah.
You have to be a precog to know that. That's Paul Thurrott on the left. He is, of course, the... There's a word I always am trying to dig for.
Yeah, there's no good word for me.
The
Brad might disagree.
Amanuensis, the chief cook and bottle washer, the maitre d' at Thurrott.com.
The maitre d'. Yeah.
Maitre d'. Come on in. I have a table just for you. THURROTT. And the author of many, many fine books. In fact, I'm looking at them now. I rearranged my bookshelf so that the Paul Thurrott oeuvre is right at the top shelf, starting with the Delphi 3 Bible and continuing on to Windows Vista Secrets. It's all there.
It's probably not all there. And in fact, I'm going to be getting rid of my book collection soon. I'll just ship them all to you.
I don't think, you know what, I'll take them. I don't think I have room enough for the entire oeuvre. It's nice just to have an oeuvre.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I had herbs for breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are here to discuss the fabulous Microsoft Windows and Xbox and more. Stuff.
Things.
Including, and I open the lid every day when the show begins. How often do you, well, you guys are bad. You're bad.
I'm not. I'm a normal person.
You're a norm. So it used to be second Tuesday of the month.
Oh, I see.
Didn't have to worry about that.
Leo, it's like a roulette wheel now. You never know what you're going to get.
Lately, it's been at least weekly, right?
At least weekly.
And if you're on the insider preview, it's kind of like you're getting these cumulative updates. You're getting all different kinds of things now. You're not just getting Redstone 2. You're getting different things.
But I'm not.
Which makes sense.
And I'm still getting
You're
things.
not now? Yeah.
No, I took it. I decided I don't want to live on the fast ring. I'm no James Dean. Now, for some reason...
Well, that ended well, so...
I ain't no James Dean. So I'm getting cumulative update right now. I just got, just started. For some reason, something's going on with my digitizer. It keeps opening my recycle bin. Stop it. I don't want my recycle bin. Cumulative update KB317. Let's go away, recycle bin. 6938.
Which is 14393.105, I think.
Is that what it is? Is that what I'm getting?
I'm not playing this game.
The one that came out yesterday. The one that came out yesterday.
Paul's recusing himself.
Nope. This
Wait a
didn't
minute.
happen.
I'm getting yesterday's update, and there's going to be another one today?
Only if you're on the fast ring today.
Okay. I have a booger on my trackpad. I must, because it keeps clicking the recycle bin. Stop it. Or maybe this is to fix it. I'm not kidding. I'm not touching anything.
Oh my God.
Go away, recycle bin. Just keep that. See, somebody clicked it right there. Somebody's clicking my recycle bin. Oy. Maybe it's the pen. Anyway, so what are we? This isn't about me and my petty problems.
No, this is about me and my petty problems.
What are we getting with 14.9.15?
So I think I'm looking at Windows Central on this because we're kind of trying to figure what this is. They are saying it's the reinstallation of what was 14393.103, which was only a release preview and slow ring thing. Lots of bug fixes, I believe, if it is the reinstallation of that. Fixes, reliability improvements, Windows Ink, workspace stuff, Edge Shell. If it is the reinstallation of this, which came out last week, it's just like a lot of kind of mostly improvements. Obviously no brand new features.
Oh, by the way, I fixed my problem. I just moved the recycle bin down, and now when it clicks in the upper left-hand corner, it doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything.
But why is it clicking in the upper left-hand corner without my say-so? That's my question.
That's an excellent question.
A little odd.
A little strange. I have a ghost in the machine. All right. So it's not like you have a choice, right? I mean, I opened my machine, and there it was, downloading already.
Right.
Right.
Welcome to Windows 10.
Yeah. This is...
Yep.
Oh. Updates are available. Now, more updates, including Microsoft Driver Update for Surface Integration, Surface Device, Microsoft Driver Update for Surface Integration, Microsoft Driver Update for Surface UEFI.
Wait.
Yep.
What
So
date are these things?
I don't know.
Yesterday, August 30th. So Surface Book and Surface Pro 4 both got a bunch of driver updates yesterday. That UEFI firmware stuff.
What? See, this is why I wanted to be on the normal ring, because there's plenty enough on the normal ring. Keep me busy.
Now, finding, Paul and I were talking about this with Office yesterday, but finding and tracking all of these things anymore is pretty much impossible now. It's like you just have to kind of luck into knowing where they are.
It is a fool's errand, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
So let's not keep track. Let's just...
Yeah, let's just forget it. Let's just let it update.
But it does. But the problem is, it does. You open up your computer in the morning, and there it is.
Yep, I know.
You don't even have to check anymore.
Yeah. And, I've been thinking a lot about this because, the idea is this is just going to be like phones for us, and our PCs are just going to always be updating. But I feel like PCs are different, and I'm like getting more and more worried about this because I feel like when I first installed Windows 10, I said, the one thing that worries me is the instability of the platform. Right. Some things, your system's all working, then an update comes and suddenly something's not working and you're not sure. Was it that update? So
it's kind of like being a Linux user these days.
I know this is inevitable and we can't turn the clock back.
I don't know what that means, Leo, to be honest.
So in the world of Linux, and I would think any good operating system, but Linux really focuses on this, you have generally two branches. You can do the long-term support branch, which rarely gets updated. Software tends to get old, but it's supposed to be rock solid, right? And then you can participate in either a testing branch, that's what Debian calls it, or a rolling update with a number of distributions like Arch are rolling updates. And you get updates, every day there's some updates, and
is there an uproar in the Linux community about the general unreliability of those types of updates? Is this a problem?
Well, there's discussion.
No, seriously,
about
I'm serious.
There's discussion about it. Generally speaking, the sage advice is, look, if stability is important, if you're running a server, for instance, I am running a server. I'll run a Debian stable, an LTS.
Yeah, you don't want to be on right.
I don't want to be on a fast ring.
Yep.
But on my desktops and everywhere else, I do actually use Arch and the rolling distro because I like to have the latest stuff. And in general, it doesn't. Now, what the advice is well, check the bug list to make sure that people aren't having trouble with whatever got updated. And updates are, by the way, and this is another thing I have to say Linux is right, not just for the core OS, but for every app you've installed. There's a mechanism, an automated update mechanism provided by the distribution creator to update everything on your machine. So you don't get the situation where, Flash has a horrific bug and you have to know enough to fix it. And that, I think, is very good. I think that's really good. But the problem is Microsoft doesn't own the space in the way that a Linux distro can own the space. But in some ways, to me, that's a better way to do it. Now I know I'm, as secure as can be. for the time being.
This is a problem,
But
this is
yes,
it really is
regular updates like this are problematic as well. So it's an interesting
I think the
challenge.
problem is, it's funny, Office falls into this category, obviously, like Mary just said, we were just talking about this. And with Office, it's functional updates, right, that we're mostly dealing with. On Windows, you get functional updates, 2-3 times a year, but really what we're talking about there is, I guess, security and bug fixes. But it's interesting when you have a complex legacy system, and I would assume Linux falls into this category, Mac OS 10. It's hard, I think, to maintain this mobile device updating schedule,
Well, surely this is a big change for Windows users. We're not used to this kind. In fact, because people complained in the past, that's when they started doing monthly updates and roll them all up.
Right. Well, they're always trying to make it right. They want to make it predictable and reliable, right? And that's all understandable. But we're not predictable or reliable anymore, it seems. And I think it's well, I don't know, okay, but it's understandable that there might be some kind of a birthing issue at the beginning of this, right? Because we've taken this thing that's been around for 30 years, and we've suddenly decided, not we, but Microsoft, had to, update it regularly like a service. And I wonder if everyone, Microsoft included, didn't underestimate the gravity of, what that means.
Yeah. Right. Here's the changelog, thanks to Tero Elhonen, for what is in that cumulative update you just got. It's build 14393.105. Improved battery life for wearable devices like the band is part of this. Improved compatibility Xbox controllers. Lots of .NET stuff, NFC chip stuff. All kind of like piddly updates. Plus performance related to purchasing Windows Store apps.
On the one hand, I welcome the constant improvement. And improvement. And like you, Paul, I made some concessions for the fact, we got an anniversary update. It's going to take a while to settle down as they get out to the broader world.
Yeah.
But this is a month later now.
Right. So we don't know where we are in the rollout. That's one thing. It's kind of interesting. On the one end, we have people coming, I don't know, you do too, I'm sure, email us saying, hey, I never got the anniversary update. What's going on? It's like August is almost over. And then on the other hand, we have all these reports about problems like the Webcam Gate stuff, the various other problems that we've seen. Copy and paste is still a problem, which is kind of amazing. Maybe that's why the anniversary update isn't rolling out that quick, and maybe that's proof in a way that the system or the process is working. That this is how it's supposed to work. If this thing goes out to X number of people and we start seeing these new problems we didn't see during the testing period, you slow it down.
I still don't have it on the Acer. I never got it.
Really?
I don't have it on a number of machines. My Surface Pro 3 never got it.
Wow.
No.
Do you think they
and you know
stopped
what? You're
it
right.
after the problems?
It might be gated, like the machines they know, which we had heard, machines that they know are most likely to succeed, like Surface Book, Surface Pro 4, get it first. Machines where they're not as sure, get it later, after they have more people get it and kind of the bugs start working themselves out. So it could be working as planned. It could be that.
And remember too, less than a week ago, AdDuplex, which usually does Windows Phone kind of usage share stuff, but every once in a while we'll look at Windows devices more broadly. Looked at PCs. They said, let's see if I can find this. Yeah, this was again a week ago, but most PCs were still running Windows 10 version 15.11, 77% of them, right? So only at the time 16% of the PCs they were seeing out in the world, like real world usage, were on the anniversary edition. And that, if 16% of 380 to 400 million, whatever the number is what, 30 something, 60 million people. I mean, it's still a big number in a way, but it's a small percentage of the overall Windows 10 user base. And I think that is a hint in that direction, that it is being gated, like you said.
Do you think it would have been gated if we hadn't had these early problems, or was this the plan all along?
I think this was always the plan, but I think they can speed up and slow down based on how well it's going.
They watch, they look.
Right.
By the way, I am completely guessing here. I'm
so we're both guessing, right?
Right. I don't know anything about how their process works. I'm just
But this is
It
what
is
you'd
interesting.
want them to do, actually, is...
Yeah, right. So we're literally 4 weeks right into the rollout.
It's like walking into a dark room full of cats.
You see a mailbox.
You move gingerly. You move slowly. You don't just charge right in.
Right.
Right. And since what we call RTM happened, there have been, I don't know how many cumulative updates, I haven't counted, but at least 5 probably to Windows 10 anniversary. Like the one you get today, Leo, is one of these cumulative updates. So it's all the fixes that are coming post RTM also. That is what's happening.
Okay.
And maybe also playing into the staggering, right?
Well, I'm staggering, I could tell you.
We're all staggering right
staggering
now.
under the weight.
We're all staggering.
So I think it did all of those. I'm now just checking for updates one more time to make sure. But
I think you're up to date because you're not on the fast ring.
Yeah.
So.
And that means, Leo, it's time to start thinking about the Insider program again.
No, thank you. Let me just.
You have other rings, you know. You don't have to be in the fast ring. You could be in slow ring or release preview ring if you want.
I kind of like being on the. I'm going to be a normal like you, a normie like you.
Okay.
I think. I wanted to, test the new stuff before it came out, but so I'm on build 14.393.105. So I guess that's the current one.
That's the most recent.
That's the current.
That was yesterday.
And I'm getting the updates were installed bug and all of that. And then there's the update history. Okay. And I did get the new drivers for the UEFI and Surface integration and all that stuff. All right. That wasn't too bad. One restart. Could have been worse. Yet it does feel like every week now.
Yep.
And you can defer. How long can you defer? Did we ever find that out?
Yeah. You know what? I asked
Several
about
months,
this.
it says.
Really, that long?
By the way.
Several months if you're on the current branch for business, but what if you're on current branch?
Yeah.
That's the one I can't figure out if you can.
I'm just basing on what it says in the UI, but yeah, I don't know.
I'll ask that question again because I am curious as a normal consumer how long you can defer. I don't know the answer.
Chat room, anybody deferring out there?
Current branch for business can defer, I think, 4 months or 8 months. They have like a window like that. It's quite a bit of time.
Probably the chat room's the wrong group to people to ask because they're like us. They want all the latest stuff. They're not going to defer.
They don't want to defer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Mom says only I'm paying my taxes.
Yeah, I would like that one too.
Let's defer that. And if you defer, do you get security updates willy-nilly, or can you hold those back too?
No, those just come in.
Okay.
There's nothing. You can't stop those.
PS Chops.
The only thing you can defer is feature updates, right?
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to defer security updates, even if they hose your system.
People do.
Yeah.
People do defer them.
Yeah.
I mean, like IT pros who can defer for their organization are still deferring them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. And yeah, all right, that makes sense. So it'd be nice, kind of, if the one thing about deferring. Well, but it doesn't roll them up. You still have to go one after the other, after the other, after the other if you defer. So you aren't speeding anything up. You're just deferring it.
Yeah, except we're about to change. Remember now, all the security updates are going to start coming as one cumulative update, right?
Yep. Okay.
Always, never a dull moment. Always something new.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason this is an issue is because it shows. I mean, we get updates all the time for, say, Chrome and Firefox without notice.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you don't know that that's happening. And you don't have to say...
Simpler products, I mean, to be fair.
Well, that's true. An OS update is a non-trivial thing. But
yeah.
It's only because we kind of have to participate that we get aware of this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's table this conversation until the next time it happens. How about that?
I know. Until next
those,
week when there'll be another
those
update.
pictures in the mall, it's like all colors, and if you look at it the right way, you see like a boat in there or something.
Yeah, I love that.
I see. I can never see the thing that's in there, and that's what this is like for me. It's frustrating because I know other people must get it, but I just can't.
Why, Microsoft? Why? Well, it's a dangerous world we live in. I mean, look at this iOS exploit.
I know. Right.
And there are horrific Android exploits out there of similar problems. And Google doesn't have the power to update all Android phones. So we're lucky that Apple and Microsoft do have the power to update all of their stuff, because otherwise, well, not the phones, right? Microsoft's in the same boat with phones, but. As
that's
far as,
changing, actually.
Is it?
But
yeah, good. Yeah. I mean, it's
right when it matters,
It's clear that there's a race to find these exploits, and now my concern is that this race is no longer fueled by the mafia, but by governments, including our own government, who are willing to pay millions of dollars for security flaws that allow them to snoop on us, and that suddenly created a cottage industry, maybe not such a cottage industry, of people banging on stuff to find flaws. On the one hand, it's great. The more flaws we find, the more we can patch. On the other hand, I think it's one of the reasons we're seeing these updates on such a regular basis. There's more to patch than ever before. You could make the argument we lived in a fool's paradise before, I guess. We didn't know about the problems.
I'm going to go live in the woods. I can't.
I know.
Can't do this anymore.
Well, I'll tell you the lesson I learned from the iOS flaw, which was out for 3 to 4 years and being sold actively for 3 to 4 years by the NSO group. It was just chance that they got caught and the flaw discovered and Apple patched it. You should just assume that you're just screwed.
And thank you, Scott McNeely.
Privacy is dead. Get over it.
That was an uplifting segment.
Well, it's important to remember. I'm moving all my stuff off Dropbox. 68 million accounts compromised.
Wow.
But where can you go that is never compromised? That's the thing.
I'm running my own.
You go from one place to another.
I'm running my own server with software I hope is secure. There's some amount of security
under your bed or something.
There's some amount of security through obscurity by not. I interviewed Mikko Hopponen, who's a security guy. He's very, very, very well known. He's been running F-Protect for years. He was one of the first antivirus companies, and he's a premier security guy. And I asked him, well, what do you run? And he said, I'm not going to tell you that. He says, I'm not going to, no attack surface. You don't want to tell people what operating system you use, what software you're using, how you protect your data, where your data is, especially if you might be the target of a targeted attack.
Right. Interesting.
And if you don't, I use Gmail, so I'm just going to presume my email's not private unless I take the effort to use PGP, which I do from time to time to encrypt it. Then I know it's secure as well, unless there's
I'm not one of those security goofballs who says something like, if you weren't doing anything wrong, you wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff. But, it's...
Sadly, there was even a flaw in the GPG tools that I use to encrypt my email. So,
yeah.
I think Steve Gibson put it well yesterday on Security Now. You basically, if you want to talk privately, you need to go to a park, a wide open park in a bikini. Because otherwise,
I often do.
Yeah, me too. Wow. All right.
There's an image.
Yeah, really.
Yep. You'll never unsee that.
Paul and me in a Speedo talking.
Yep, it's just like the Riviera, except it's in New York.
No. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. All right. Is there a gate this week?
Of course there is.
Yep.
It's
Let's
Wednesday.
Open the gate. It's Wednesday. There must be another gate.
Okay.
Who comes up with these things? All right.
Outlook
I think
gate.
you and I both. Outlookgate. So this is our name for what's going on with Outlook.com, the new experience. As longtime listeners of this podcast may recall, Paul Thurrott does not have the new Outlook.
I probably should mention this more on Twitter.
So isn't there somebody else that doesn't have the new Outlook?
Yes, there are many people I know who do not. But Paul is maybe the most vociferous person I know who does not.
It isn't a gate if no one cares.
No. Okay, so we found out this week that Microsoft says of the 400 million Outlook.com users, 90% they say have the new Outlook.
Oh, Paul.
Bullshit.
Oh, Paul.
I don't believe
You and I, Paul, are in the 10%.
Yep. Sure.
Sorry.
You and I are in the 10%.
I gotta say, Microsoft, I don't believe this. Or if it's true, I am hearing from every single one of those people in the 10%.
That's my point exactly. I also have heard from every single person who doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Not
So
that
the
I
reason we're calling
care.
Right. Okay. Why should you care? A lot of people say, so what? I have an old Outlook. It still works, right? Why do I care if I have the new Outlook?
It works great if you like to collect spam, for example. That's what mine does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use it
for
as my
me,
spam.
Yeah. I'm on the new Outlook.com. I still get some spam. I don't get a lot of spam, but it has a lot of other features that people may want. They have some of the decluttering inbox stuff. They have those add-ins for Uber and PayPal and Maps that are built right
Mary Jo,
into
let me ask you a question about these new features. How far back in time would you have to go to find the Microsoft posts that describe those new features?
You would have to go back to May 2015, which is when they first
a long time
announced
ago, right? I think we can agree that was.
Yep.
Microsoft has rolled out 3 versions of Windows 10 since then, Mary Jo.
Hey, I'm very excited. I'm just
throwing it out there.
Now that I checked Outlook, I just got the news from Microsoft that coming soon, my Windows 10 anniversary update.
Did you really just get
5 a.m.?
Wait, don't you already have it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did it come into Hotmail or something?
Yeah, no, Outlook. It's my Outlook account. Just came in.
That's great.
Yeah. So good news. I can't wait.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get the new Outlook soon.
You might get the new Outlook too. Maybe. So here's what happened this week that got a lot of people upset. There was somebody on Twitter who, I have to look up his name. He told me, hey, I just got a pop-up from Microsoft that says, I'm not going to get the new Outlook till the first half of 2017.
That's awesome.
And so they had been telling people by this summer, the vast majority would have the new Outlook.com.
I believe originally it was the end of August.
It was. That was what it said in their documentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the user, Joel R., said, I just got this pop-up, and it says, we expect the upgrade to be finished in the first half of 2017. It was a pop-up from Microsoft in his Outlook.com. He has the old Outlook.com. I contacted Microsoft, and I contacted them and they said, oh, that was a mistake in the wording of that. And so I said, oh, okay. So when is the date that it'll be completed? And they said, we can't tell you that. So we don't know if it's next year. We don't know if it's this year. We don't know. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not belittling how hard this may be to convert people to the new Outlook.com, because it's not like when they went Hotmail to Outlook.com, which was more just superficial and a facelift, right? This is actually them using what they call the building blocks of the Office 365 backbone underneath the new Outlook.com. So it's definitely more involved. And the idea is once this is completed, Microsoft will be able to have a more common set of features across all these different things that are called Outlook. And so it, in theory at least, will make it easier for Microsoft to update Outlook, introduce new features, because the platform underneath will be a lot more similar. But I feel like they need to kind of be upfront with people and just say, here's why this is hard. We know that people who have shared calendars are in this group of people.
It's a hard computer science problem.
It's a hard computer science problem. If you have shared calendars, you probably don't have the new Outlook.com. If you are somebody who is on Windows Live Mail and you are converting over to the new Outlook.com, you also don't have it yet.
If the moon is waxing, you probably don't have the new Outlook.com.
I'm getting a waxing
born on a day
later
that has an
today.
R in it.
I don't have none of those things apply to me. I gotta say, I don't know. That's weird.
Right. So right now on Twitter, every single person who does not have it is tweeting to me.
Yep.
I don't have it either. I know you guys don't have it either.
Oh, you don't have it. You have it, Mary
No,
Jo.
I'm like the only person I know who has it almost. And I think it's because I use Outlook.com in a very simple way. And I also may have one of the more recent Outlook.com accounts. I don't know.
I think it's because Microsoft knows that she wants to gloat and hold this over me.
I do. Every week I send Paul a picture. And here's how you know if you have it.
Here's what it still looks like.
Right. The heading, if you have the header on, right. Does it say Outlook Mail? If it does, then you have the new Outlook.com.
And every time
if it
I
does
look,
not
I go,
say that,
Mine says Outlook.com.
then you're on the old one. If it says that,
It's okay. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't see.
You're-
I use it more simply
I'm
than
so
you do.
close.
I don't use it. It just sits there.
right. That's
You're
probably
not
the
missing
appropriate use of
anything,
it,
really.
I know.
I know.
I
I
think
say
it's
this
a sign
every
of
week.
maturity not to be bothered by this, and I'm going to admit that I don't have that maturity, and that I am bothered by this.
Yeah.
Well, bother on because 90% have it, Paul.
That's what I hear.
That's what they say. They say that. So yeah, if you do not have it, we don't really know now when the new cutoff date is when you may get it. So if you get a pop-up from Microsoft, if you're on the old Outlook.com, let us know what it says when you get the pop-up, because it'll be interesting to see what the date is that you see.
It's just like a WAV file of a laughing sound, like in Jurassic
Maybe.
Park.
Right?
Interesting.
So that's our Outlookgate of the week.
That's not really a gate. Is it a gate?
It's not really a gate.
It's not a gate.
Well, how about Batterygate, Leo? That's a gate.
That's a gate. We got another gate. We're not done yet. There's Webcam Gate. There's
I take your
Batterygate.
gate and I raise you a gate.
We got gates
How
galore.
about Kindlegate? Kindlegate.
Kindlegate.
Gate.
Yeah.
How about Cottage Gate?
That'd be a good Windows tip. Like how to add a hardware reset button to your PC. Just plug in your Kindle.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have to sit through a
It
blue screen.
does.
but yeah, it will reboot.
Oh.
Yikes.
Well, I still haven't solved the HTC Vive gate.
What's that gate?
Well, every time I try to run any of the VR software on our ultimate virtual reality gaming machine, they have blue screens. I thought they fixed the blue screen, really, honestly. Wasn't it gone for a while?
They made it cute. It has
It
the
has
little
a smiley face, which is really
Actually, the one I got had a barcode or the QR code.
Yeah, they started. I've seen that too, which takes you to a website that tells you nothing.
Yeah, it says if you're reading this, your computer is screwed. It's just,
Hey, quickly, snap this barcode because we're rebooting.
yeah.
Anyway, what's the battery thing?
What's the battery thing? So, I don't know, a couple of months ago or a month and a half ago or so, Surface Pro 3 users started noticing that their batteries weren't working and that they had to be plugged in and couldn't hold a charge.
Yeah.
Microsoft, and I think through the support channels, tied it to the Simplo batteries. There were one of two choices that could be in your Surface Pro 3. And they said they were working on it. A while back, they said they thought they could fix it with software. Last week, they said, we have a fix. We're going to roll it out soon. And then this week, they did roll it out. And it appears
software. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
There's an excellent, I should say, we often complain about transparency and communication with Microsoft. In fact, we literally just did it with the Outlook issue. It is a constant problem with Microsoft. Mary Jo and I have both credited this with our careers, and so thank you again, Microsoft. They haven't been particularly forthcoming on the Surface Pro 3 battery issue. That said, when they released the fix, they did publish a page that really explained everything. In fact, in maybe too much detail about what the problem was, what caused it, how they fixed it. And there's a Q&A at the end because there's a lot of people really upset on the support forums who, confronted by this problem early on before it was a known issue, had brought their machine into a Microsoft store, had it fixed out of warranty, had paid maybe $400 or $500 to do so. And they even addressed that. And they basically said, we're looking into this. If the issue you had was in fact related to this and wasn't a hardware problem that is not covered by the warranty, we're going to refund the money. And it's kind of a nice turnaround for them because they often aren't very transparent. Microsoft generally, but Surface specifically. And I think they could have done a little bit more, I think, proactively here. But this is the most information I've ever seen them publish about anything like this. It was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Agree. And Panos Panay, who heads up Surface and hardware now, tweeted yesterday and he said, hey, the battery fix has been out. Keep the feedback coming. Don't worry, they will.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Thanks for the prompting, but that will happen. Yep.
Yeah. As it should. You know what? If you bought a Surface Pro 3 and you paid for it, you you should be able to use it, and you shouldn't have a case where you can't even charge it because the battery's so depleted, right? I mean, people couldn't even turn it on. That's the point they were getting to. Yeah. But I've heard from people who've applied this, and they say they do believe this fixed it. I haven't heard anybody say this didn't work.
If you put a Kindle and you plugged it into a Surface Pro 3, would it explode?
Let's find out.
So what happens when you plug a Kindle into...
into a PC?
Into a PC.
It blue screens.
It's a USB device. Is it trying to launch some software, some Kindle software or something?
That one hasn't been addressed yet. We don't know.
No.
Do we know?
No. So Microsoft told me there's an issue with a number of people using Kindle Voyager or Paperwhite.
Oh, that's what I have.
Those are the only two.
Oh, I've replicated
and it's only a subset of these people, they say, not everybody.
It's the same people that don't have Outlook.com.
It might be.
Well,
it might be the
plugging
same
my Kindle in it. Yeah. But see, I never plug my Kindle in, so I don't.
No,
right. When you plug it into Windows 10 device running anniversary update, this is when you have this issue that it reboots.
Yeah. I've heard from a couple of people now that if you plug the Kindle into the device into the PC when it's off, and then power on the PC, it'll be fine. So if you need this for some reason, I guess that's one little workaround. But as it notes or it has it here in the notes, I mean, this Kindle issue, the webcam issue,
that hasn't been fixed, right? Webcam issue.
No, and the PowerShell issue, right?
PowerShell also. I don't think the fix is out for PowerShell DSC, which desired state configuration, which also was not working after people were applying anniversary update.
So we're never going to surpass this, Mary Jo. But I believe this week we have Outlookgate, Batterygate, that's Batterygate, Webcamgate, Kindlegate, and PowerShell.
How about PowerShell Gate?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of gates.
It's been a good year for gates.
Yeah, it was funny. Someone who was not from the U.S. sent me a tweet and said, "Why do you guys keep talking about all these gates?" Yes. Right? Like he meant gates, like door gates. And I was like,
gates.
no.
I would assume that Watergate is actually a fairly common.
Oh yeah, everybody knows about the gates. Everybody knows about the gates. There's always.
I don't know. This guy did not. So
is he outside the U.S.? It might be.
He was.
Yeah, it's probably pretty specifically a U.S. thing.
So yeah, if you don't know, it's a reference to Watergate.
It all started with Watergate, the first scandal,
which has become really the least of the gates, in my opinion.
I know. For you, I think Outlookgate
somewhere below Surface Gate, somewhere above Batterygate.
Yeah. All of these gates, Microsoft says they are aware and they're working on fixes. So it's not like they're just ignoring them. They, as we saw with Batterygate, they did issue a software fix this week. So they say they are going to have a software fix for PowerShell and also for Kindle and I guess Webcamgate too, right?
The delta on this stuff is tough. The time frame between Batterygate starting and them issuing the fix was over a month at least, right? Maybe a couple of months. The webcam thing, I went back and
you've had that for a while, right?
Months ago, I had that. It impacted this podcast. I did a podcast that I had to do in audio because I couldn't figure out the video problem. And I think I talked about this last week, how I kind of went through this troubleshooting thing where I blamed everything but the Windows 10 anniversary update. And now, of course, we know retroactively that it was Windows causing the problem. But, I can't be the only one that experienced this. And, this is a small non sequitur, but you must have seen the message in Windows 10 these days. You get these little things that comes up. Would you recommend this build? Do you find this build to be okay? And I got one that said, did you, when I did the Kindle thing, it said, it seems like you had a problem. Was this an scheduled shutdown, right? How do you not know that? Why are you asking me this question? Like, but it seems like these reliability things.
You know what's making this more complicated, though? Not everybody has it, right? Like, there are some people who are using Windows 10 Anniversary with certain webcams that you've had problems with who aren't having the problem, right?
Sure.
So
well, maybe.
It's not like you can't say like every Logitech camera of this make has a problem with it 1607.
Well,
or can you?
Actually, I think you kind of can.
Okay.
I did mention last week that I'm not having the issue now. right? And then I'm not having the issue despite having not run any kind of workaround or anything, that I, just by virtue of the fact that I never accept any update your software kind of thing, which occurs to notifications, have not had this problem. Now, I don't feel that that means I've solved anything, right? Because ideally, you should be able to install these updates and not worry about it.
Yeah.
But that maybe is a clue to something. So, you know, I don't know, to
the
some
Kindle
solution.
one, the Kindle one, they say is not everybody.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
say
that one I don't.
only some paperwhite.
Yeah. No, that's a paperweight now.
It is. And Voyager users. Because I asked that specifically. I'm like, so it's not everybody who has a Paperwhite who plugs it in is having this occur? And they said no.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I mean, since I'm batting 1,000, Brad asked me that morning
You should try
if
it.
I had it.
Yeah.
I did. And he said, do you have a Kindle? I said, yeah. And he said, do you mind trying this thing? And I said, sure. And so I plugged the Paperwhite into my computer. Nothing happened. And I said, oh, it works fine. And he's like, all right. I said, oh, it's okay. I said, it's worth writing up anyway. This is obviously happening to some people. It's something that people need to know about. So I started writing it. And in the course of while writing it, I looked down at the device and I said, I don't need that in there anymore. So I unplugged it. It was like, bloop, boom, instant blue screen.
Boom.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I'll try it. I have a Voyager. I'll try it at home. Did you ever install any Kindle software or Kindle drivers or anything?
I'd never plugged a Kindle.
Yeah, because normally you don't need to.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like a USB driver issue, right? Unless the Kindle tries to install some software. It might be that the Kindle says, oh, I see you've... But then it wouldn't crash on unplug. This is this is a mystery.
It is a mystery. Yep.
There's no way. I can't troubleshoot it on one PC. I mean, my experience means nothing. But I know that, other than the fact that I lost half of a document. But I mean, I know from getting email.
It just died. You couldn't...
it literally blew... Yeah, it just went right to death.
There's, I thought they fixed Windows so that Userland software couldn't cause a kernel panic, which is, I guess, what a blue screen is. It's a crash so bad that the machine can't go on. That means that means these things are accessing ring 0.
Yeah.
This should not be a problem on a modern operating system.
You know, Windows NT 4.0, they moved the graphics into the kernel. And it's just been a roller coaster of fun ever since.
A modern operating system should not kernel panic from Userland software, period.
Yeah, that's sure.
Yep.
That's my slow burn
all I can do is
sound.
describe it. Yeah, I know.
It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Especially since it seems that like they fixed it. Because we went for several generations of Windows that didn't do this. Right?
Yeah. It seemed like that.
Did they change? They didn't change the driver model in Windows 10. It's the same driver model. What did they do?
Well, I mean,
they
remember
change
this
the
is
driver
Windows 10.
Microsoft? What did
1607, right? It's the third version of Windows 10. It's not
I know.
even
That's what
Windows
makes
10.
this weird. Right.
It's, who knows? Maybe this was happening all along, and it's just like Webcam Gate that nobody really noticed it to this level. And
No.
yeah,
And okay, this brings up an interesting question, and I'm definitely not saying blame insiders, because I think it's awesome that people are insider testers and trying to help and all, but how didn't some insiders kind of stumble onto some of these things?
Well, this one I
Especially
understand, because as Paul and I agree, it's just not normal to plug your Kindle in.
Yeah.
That's
but the PowerShell one.
Right.
The PowerShell
So
one.
what's the PowerShell one?
Desired state configuration breaks on PowerShell with Windows 10 anniversary. So I know that there must be a ton of insiders who are running PowerShell, right?
So here
That's
again,
one of
though,
those ones.
but you have to kind of speculate, right? In other words, I actually think people might have reported this. I think people did report the webcam thing. I think people did report the Kindle thing. I think people probably did report the PowerShell thing as well. It's just that there are these systems for upvoting, right? And you're supposed to go in and see if there's a problem that duplicates the problem that you have, but I bet a lot of people don't do that. And it may just be a process issue, that for some reason these problems were never escalated to the point where they became showstoppers, which I think we can agree all of them should have been.
Try this,
And again,
Paul.
just guessing.
Just curious if you ejected the Kindle before unplugging it. If
Ejected it from the tray, you mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try that right now.
No,
but
don't do that right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm willing to try it. Sure.
Something did change in the drivers, obviously, because I'm also getting blue screens on my NVIDIA driver. So they did something with the drivers. And drivers do typically work in the kernel ring, so.
Okay.
It could either be I'm sleeping or slow burning.
I think it sounds like anger.
It is anger.
Yeah.
It's what Marge Simpson does when Homer does something particularly
exactly.
annoying. Let's take a break and come back and talk about happy things. There's a lake in probably, I'm thinking Oregon or Washington State. I don't know where it is. Called Kaby.
Oregon.
By the way,
Oregon,
I
right?
got somebody told me the correct pronunciation.
Oh, good. We'll find out in a moment.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Igloo software. Don't fast forward if you're looking for an amazing intranet. An intranet your employees actually want to use. You know, nowadays, we are using many different cloud services. Sometimes we bring them in from work, like Dropbox, right? Or Google Drive. I'm from home, I mean. Then there's stuff we use for work, like Salesforce or Zendesk. And pity the IT, the poor IT professional, has to keep track of all this, make sure it all works and is secure. People typically use around 30 different cloud services to get their work done every day. The good news is Igloo, the ultimate intranet, brings them all under one roof. It's an intranet you'll actually like, and if your employees are bringing in their own, stuff, BYO SaaS, I'm calling it, then you're going to really like how this helps you share files, collaborate on documents, update blogs, internal blogs, coordinate internal calendars, manage projects. And it customizes to fit with whatever you're doing, whatever, Office 365, you bet. Salesforce, SharePoint, Active Directory. If you're using file sharing solutions like Google Drive and Dropbox or OneDrive, support systems like Zendesk. Igloo offers a variety of access, authentication, and identity services so that you not only control who has access, of course, but who can do what. So if you want to blog and you want to make sure that it's only the one person in marketing who can write that blog, you've got the total control. And it works in private clouds, of course, over SSL, of course, 256-bit encryption, of course. A lot of big companies and growing companies, too, use Igloo software. User Testing, BDO, American Family Insurance, ATP World Tour, just some of their customers. Why don't you try it? It's easy to get a live demo for free that they'll show you. And I really like, if you go to Igloo, IGLOO, igloosoftware.com/twit, I like it that you can get your own Igloo for a small group, for like 10 people, perfect for like, the individual work group or a startup or, your mother's club, free forever. igloosoftware.com/twit, an intranet you'll actually like. We thank them for their support of Windows Weekly. Paul Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley, we're talking about Windows, we're talking about the gates, and now we're going to pronounce Kaby Lake properly. What is it?
I'm told it's, I'm going to have a hard time saying it, Kaby. Like
Kaby?
Kaby.
Kaby?
Kaby.
Kaby?
Not Kaby, in other words. Not
Yeah.
like Kaby
Oh, we always
It's a
Toys.
short A, not a long A.
Yeah.
I got it. What is it?
I don't know.
Besides a lake in Oregon, what is it?
Yeah. Well,
It's
the
7th generation.
Yeah, Intel Core chipset. Or as we might call it, the 5th generation .2.
The successor to Cannon Lake.
No.
No, it's actually
Or Coffee Lake.
It's a new product that they wedged in between Silver Lake and Cannon Lake. So Cannon Lake was going to be the next major release, the next tick in Intel's old
So it's the
tick-tock
predecessor to Cannon
schedule.
Lake.
Yes.
So, yeah, originally it was going to
Wait a
be
minute, what
Silver
happened to,
Lake.
so there was a Sky Lake, and then...
I'm sorry,
Sky Lake,
I
and
keep
then
calling
it
Silver
was
Lake.
going to be Cannon Lake.
Yep.
They killed
But
Cannon Lake.
Now Cannon Lake's been pushed out, and
Okay.
they've wedged this new talk release in. So it's another It's another Silver Lake, essentially.
What's Silver Lake?
Silver Lake 2.0, the quickening.
Skylake.
Skylake, sorry, I keep doing that. I have a really hard time with that. I apologize.
Skylake.
It's the silver.
It's still 1151. Socket's not changed. Still 14 nanometers. Size hasn't changed.
Right.
But I'm sure something's new and exciting.
Nope.
Nope.
Actually, there is one new and exciting thing. Hopefully, it should just work now. And one of the problems with
it's no longer a difficult computer science problem.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I just sort of described it as Intel's apology for Skylake in the same way that Windows 8.1 was in Microsoft's apology for Windows 8.
And this was the processor Microsoft said, okay, but if you get a machine with Kabylake, you can't run anything but Windows 10 on it. Don't try to run those old Windows on them. They backed up.
So it's funny. I sort of tend to focus on the Skylake. I still want to say Silver Lake. The Skylake issues and why this thing exists. But I actually, for the long term, that is probably the bigger issue surrounding this chipset and future chipsets, right? That Microsoft has, who knows how or why made these concessions with regards to Skylake and how they're going to support it in Windows 7 and Windows 8.1, which they weren't originally going to do. But remember, like you just said, the other part of it is it's all Windows 10 going forward. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is it like the latest version of Windows 10 as well?
I thought that they changed it. No.
They didn't back off on Kaby. How do you say it? Kaby. They didn't back off for Kaby Lake. They only backed off for Skylake. So
just be glad.
The word, if you have Kaby Lake systems, you can only run Windows 10 on it. That's it. No 8. No 8.1, no 7. No.
Yeah.
It's in Ontario.
Oh, it is? Huh.
And apparently its real name is, and I'm glad Intel decided not to use this Kabinakagami Lake.
Yikes.
It's where they're going to bury all the dead blackberries.
Kabinakagami Lake in Wawa, Ontario.
Wawa.
Wawa. Kabinakagami means Lake of Many Bays. It's the largest in the Algoma district and the headwaters of the Albany River system.
Sure is.
It's not a deep lake, but it is. But it has clear waters, 147 islands, innumerable weed beds, shoals, and drop-offs. It's a tough computer science problem.
It is.
So, so the Kabinakagami Lake processor. I'm gonna use the official name.
That's an awesome word. Yeah.
It is.
We'll complain about Worcester,
It's spelled Kabinakagami, but it's pronounced Kaby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kaby to its friends.
What is Intel touting as the reason that we should get it? I mean, it doesn't sound like it's much changed from.
It's funny. There isn't much of a reason, is there?
It's like it's their version of Windows 7. It's their response to Vista, kind of.
Yeah, it's an apology.
It's an apology. That's how you wrote it.
Yep.
I'd read it, but I haven't paid my $42 yet.
God, you're so cheap. Leo, I just want to get paid for what I do. Is it wrong?
No, it's not wrong. And I'm going to pay you $42 for this show. So there. The problem
I'll tell you what Intel says. Intel says these chips are 12% faster than Skylake in raw performance, far more efficient at decoding 4K video. That's about it, though, pretty much.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And, we've talked about Microsoft delaying Redstone 2 because they wanted to sync up with new Surfaces running Kaby Lake. But what those are the version of Kaby Lake that's not out yet. There's like a quad-core version of Kaby Lake coming early next year. And that's what I bet Microsoft was waiting for, not this version that people are already starting to roll new PCs out running, right? It's the coming.
This is I don't want to misspeak here because this is an area I'm not totally familiar with, but we know that there are lower end processors. Actually, those are just revved, the ones that are branded Celeron, Pentium, and what am I missing? Something else. Atom, sorry. And then these processors, we used to have this kind of, it was like the M line. It was M3, M5, M7, which were kind of aimed at fanless PC designs. They weren't always fanless, but lower power than the full-blown, Core i processors, which also had i3, i5, i7 variants. And with this family of chips, they've basically gotten rid of the M's except for the low-end one. And so now what we have is an M3 and then an i5 and an i7. And so what people are telling me, and I just did not understand this and maybe still don't understand it, is that the i3 and the M3 in the previous gen chips were actually pretty much the same. They weren't all that different, I guess. The one thing I've always found to be less science and more magic about chips is that they make these things. It's like they're using alien technology. They have no idea how they're going to come out. And then they can view the result and they can say, well, based on our testing, this one doesn't have the resistance or whatever to be called an i7, so we will call this one an i5. And there's great variance, apparently, in the quality, in the speed, in the reliability, whatever it is, of these chips. And they really don't know until after they've made them. And then they make a decision then, well, this one will be this and this one will be that. I could be misspeaking to some degree, so I apologize. I'm not a hardware guy, but I've always found that kind of thing to be somewhat fascinating.
Well, so don't run to the store and say, I want Kabinakagami Lake. I mean,
no, don't ever say that, because in this day and age, that would probably call Homeland Security.
Yeah, they go, yeah, you're not getting it, buddy, but I tell you what you are getting. Sure. A ride in a special van.
Don't say it on a plane.
The nice, it is socket compatible.
I got the new.
So I presume it's going to be a very easy thing for Microsoft and OEMs to just kind of switch over to Kabylake.
Yeah, right. I mean, it should. It's conceivable. We've not heard nothing about this, but there's no reason that Microsoft or other PC makers couldn't do a swap out, right? And
right.
Swap a
same
Skylake.
socket. Same socket.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. CNET's saying the rumor is no new motherboard needed. You should just be able to switch.
Huh.
So.
And it's
I mean, as a PC maker, I mean, a lot of times.
Right. As a PC maker. Right.
On a laptop type machine.
I'm sure there's drivers and stuff. That's the whole reason Microsoft said, this is it. We're not going to backport our software anymore because it's too much trouble. So they're a little bit faster, a little bit more power efficient. Most important, they work. Your battery.
I'm not like a marketing guy, and I don't think any of my themes would make it out to the world, but I think that's really where.
Yeah. And this week at IFA in Berlin, there are a lot of OEMs starting to show machines with Kaby Lake in them that are going to be shipping this fall.
Yeah, I'm sure IFA, we sent Father Robert and
nice.
Brian Burnett there. They're in Berlin right now, and we'll be doing live coverage of IFA through the rest of the week.
So we're we're in the middle of it in the sense that we've only heard a few things. We know Acer released a bunch of machines.
Beautiful. That S7 replacement.
Yep.
That's one
thinner,
you might
lighter,
look
all that
at.
stuff.
Yeah, it's the thinnest laptop now. Yeah.
Yeah, Lenovo just announced some stuff, including something that looks like the Courier, except that one of the screens is literally a pad of paper. So don't get too excited by that. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What, that Lenovo thing? One's a pad of paper?
Well, no. In other words, there is a computer, but one of the cases has a pad of paper on the side. It's
smart. Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case your computer doesn't work.
Just in case you've been using a Kindle and it blue screened.
One of the things, look, IFA is the same thing every year. It's thinner, lighter, yada yada yada.
But this timing with the Kabylake makes sense because
of course, yep. And the thing I don't know tell me if you folks see any interest in this kind of product. I know this is not brand new, but for some reason this struck me today. Asus has a 15-inch external display. It's USB-C based, right? So single wire for laptops, right? So you as a traveling worker of some kind could open your laptop, plug in this thing, and then have two screens. Have you ever seen anyone do this?
Yeah. No.
No?
No. I'm thinking I'm going to show up at the next event with this thing. I'm going to have I'm going to have two of them and just have a 3 display array. And I'm going to play Flight Simulator on it.
Yeah, who was it at IFA showing the portable second display? Who was that today? That was Asus, right?
Yeah.
How portable? I mean, what do you roll
2
it up?
pounds. 2 pounds.
That's pretty
Yeah,
portable.
it's under 2 pounds. You know, it actually has an iPad type cover that you can kind of fold over and use as a stand. It has a hole in the corner, so you can actually stick a pen into it, and you can prop it up like that way as well. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I would imagine that works pretty well, actually.
It's a pen holder too. Look at that.
Yeah, a pen loop. It's nice. That's why I like it.
Pen loop built in.
Someone gets it.
So,
But the hole allows you to mount the thing in a portrait orientation, which I think would actually be pretty good for
I could see people maybe
writing documents. You know,
if they wanted to show off at the Starbucks.
yes,
You do see people sometimes at the Starbucks in the morning, kind of settling in and like unpacking, but basically build
You do.
their office
Are you going to use that table? Because I might need two.
and then have a cup of coffee.
Sure.
That's who this is for, by the way. I think there is a class. We have to call them something. Coffee shop warriors. We'll have to come up with a name that for this class of people.
Find something that isn't maybe as complimentary as that.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Well, I'm sure the chat room will come up with a name for us. So the idea being, these are people, and we can think of a lot of software that was written in coffee shops, right? That there are these guys who don't say, I don't need an office. I got Wi-Fi. I got coffee.
Yeah.
I got a muffin for lunch. Caffeine cowboys. Table hogs.
Table hogs, I agree.
Blog bucks.
Wow. There's a Starbucks near Astor Place in New York where there was a guy who came in with a giant gaming rig and set up every day. And it was a huge, gigantic gaming rig. And he just kept his place there. Yeah. Every day.
That's who this is for.
This
I'm
is
going to come in there with my 55-inch 4K HD TV and
clearly Asus has pinpointed a new market.
They have
the coffee hog market, and they've decided that we're going to own this coffee hog market. It's not expensive; it's under $300, but it's not available in the U.S. yet.
Yeah. They should add a coffee holder to the side of it.
Oh, that's what it needs. Cup
holder?
holders. Cup holders.
That would have been great.
Coffee hogs. I'm thinking coffee hogs is the name.
Oh, jeez. It's not healthy to spend that much time at a coffee shop.
Well, it's free. They come for the coffee, but they stay for the Wi-Fi, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So in other words, this is in fact the only European thing about a Starbucks, that if you buy anything, you can be there for the day.
Right.
Right. Which is not really how U.S. restaurants work for the most part.
Right.
So here's something. Oh God, you're gonna love this. The chat room just passed along something to me called the Slide Enjoy. So the Slide Enjoy was just designed for the coffee hogs. It is. It goes as big as 17 inches. Snaps onto the top of your MacBook, and then watch. You open your MacBook, and boom!
Yep.
You've got three screens, wings.
Oh, man,
Wow!
That's awesome.
The Slide Enjoy.
Nothing says "suck it, world" like this thing.
You can hide behind that thing in a coffee shop.
I want to go to a Starbucks
Barricade
with a
yourself.
Slide Enjoy.
Look, it comes in all different colors.
You can get it in leather or wood.
That is amazing.
And look, it has a pen holder.
There's a little
but it doesn't have a coffee cup holder.
The Slide Enjoy. Yeah, what's missing was...
I can only imagine what that would do to the poor hinge on your MacBook.
Who cares? You're going to be the master of your table at Starbucks.
That's awesome.
The Slide Enjoy.
I like that he has a little drink.
the astronaut on the moon.
Up on the moon.
Wait a minute, I got to order this. I'm sorry, I got to get this.
So amazing.
Shipping starts in November. It's one of them. It's one of them. They're never going to make it. 13.
Oh, is it a Kickstarter?
Well, it looks like it's even worse, a privately run.
Yeah.
349 euros, $73, 73 euros in VAT. Wow, that's 21%. Let's not move to Europe.
I know.
Holy cow. How do they get away with that? 21% tax?
Socialism doesn't pay for itself.
Holy cow.
It's not a magic
I'm
unicorn.
voting for Donald Trump. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
He's just going to march right in. We're going to take care of that VAT problem.
Yeah.
You can get an ABS, that's plastic, kids, premium, which is wood. It looks like wood, or limited.
Does this include the screens? Or do you need to
Yeah.
supply those? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you want light wood, dark wood, Alcantara? Oh,
There it is.
Alcantara. Leather?
Like the alpaca option.
I don't know. I think I like light wood. It's very Swedish. It looks
Sure.
like you've got an IKEA laptop. Oh my gosh. 685 euros.
Yikes.
And you could give them a deposit now.
Just buy another MacBook.
I know.
One
Yeah.
micro USB in and micro. Oh, so it's I think it's USB driven.
Slide and Joy is kind of a nice IKEA name, too.
It is. It's
It needs to be like an umlaut over one of the letters, but
Sludenja. It does work on Windows, not just PCs. I mean, not just Macs. But you notice they advertise with Macs because only, frankly.
because only exactly. We got to target the
You know
people
where I'm
who
going here.
indiscriminately pay money for things.
You know where I'm going with that one.
You know,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Like, who's our target audience here?
Who would buy
People pay
this?
too much for stuff.
I
on
know. Who would buy
The
this?
guy with the 17-inch Toshiba? No, I don't think so.
this. No.
Look at Steven Sandoff on Twitter. He's got Panera Bread Man iMac gallery from Gizmodo. This is pretty good too.
Okay. Holy cow. This is the new people of Walmart,
This is the
right?
new thing. Oh yeah.
What's his handle on Twitter?
At Steven Sandoff. He just tweeted to us. He said, "Doppelganger, Panera Bread iMac Man gallery." He tweeted it to you too, Leo.
Okay. And then I should be able
Yeah.
to find it.
It's basically a guy who goes to Panera with an iMac, and then he sits
He
in
does,
his seat
and he sets up.
uses his
Yeah.
iMac in the store.
Oh man. It's like that guy with the gaming rig.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
that's
this
amazing.
He's
guy.
sitting in a booth with an iMac.
Like a real
Pretty sure
full
that's Steven
saw it.
Sinofsky.
He does look like Steven Sinofsky.
Is it him?
Wouldn't that be funny? No, he wouldn't be
No.
using an iMac.
No.
He doesn't
Well-
eat at Panera. They don't put gold flakes in anything.
Here's another view. I guess he goes there a lot. How do you
That is
lug your
amazing.
iMac to Panera?
I know. You must have a little wagon or like one of those carts that people in New York like me
Radio
have.
flyer wagon.
No, like me. I have one of those carts because, when you live
Like
in the
the
city, you
shopping
get-
cart, like the little
I
old
am
ladies?
I'm a shopping
The
cart lady.
babushka?
I am one of those ladies.
That's astonishing.
You have to.
Craft
'cause you're
beer
not gonna-
doesn't come home by itself.
Yeah, you're not going to
people.
carry
Really,
groceries. You do this once. I actually, when I moved
can
into
hurt
an apartment, I bought one of those carts. I never
Yeah,
I
see?
never quite had the heart to use it. I used it once.
Sure.
I used it.
You got home and like people are throwing a bunch of change in the back of it.
It's kind of sad. Kind of sad. I made sure to wear short pants and
Panera must have changed their ways. I mean, years and years ago. In fact, I used to see Andy Yanako at the Panera in Dedham sometimes, and they used to cover up the power plugs so you couldn't use them.
oh, that's
Oh, wow.
terrible.
Back then, it was a long time ago, but
That's
they must have
appalling.
changed that. They must just
Yeah.
open that up for
Yeah.
people with iMacs for some reason.
All right.
Spectacular.
What else did we see at IFA? A Lenovo detachable.
Yeah, that's that thing that's like a courier
Oh,
that
neat.
Paul was talking about.
Oh, you already
Some
mentioned.
Yeah,
people are saying
yeah.
it looks like a courier.
It does if you squint.
I guess if you turn it on its side, you could say that.
If you're,
It has a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It has a it's full detachable, right? 2-inch
Yeah,
touch
a bunch of new
screen.
yoga stuff. I mean, the yoga,
Yeah,
those yoga things have always been
This
kind
is
of interesting.
2-in-1, the 2-in-1 category, right?
Yeah.
2-in-1.
It is
That's
does
straight-
look
straight
a
up
lot.
laptop
You're
stuff.
right. It does look a lot like the
Mm-hmm.
courier. I mean,
If you use it like that, yeah.
yeah. Holy cow. Oh, I see. You don't have to use it like that, though. It can.
No,
can use
it's
it.
like you can put it in all different configurations.
But you could do it like a book,
Yeah.
and you'd have two portrait mode screens.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Actually always thought that was a good form factor.
I
And this
kind of did too.
this makes sense because you don't have to use it that way. You can use it. Really looks
Yeah.
like a Surface in one mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's really truly a convertible. I like this.
Well, some of these are different computers.
Oh, that's not the same one? Oh,
no.
okay.
No, they have one that looks just like a Surface Pro. They've got one that's got that kind of bulge at one end with, that can hold a projector or, just a battery barrel, that kind of thing. And then they've got the one you guys are talking about, which is the new one.
Huh. Yeah,
they're all new, but it doesn't have a predecessor.
Yeah. So this relies on this new keyboard, this Halo keyboard that they're going to do.
It's called the touch keyboard. It's called the touch cover.
Touch cover. Yeah, you can type on it or you can touch it. That's interesting. So it is it's a virtual keyboard. So it's a screen that could be either a keyboard or a screen. Wow, that's weird. I don't know if I'd want to type on that very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are trying lots of different things, right?
This is you need to get like the Lenovo Mix with a detachable keyboard and then get the special Halo keyboard, I guess, to do the courier thing.
Yeah.
All right.
This is an interesting thing that I think Surface is partially responsible for, giving them a little nudge, be a little more inventive. But I also think just the general downturn in the PC business. I mean, a lot of these companies are pure PC company or primarily PC companies, and they're starting to really just try different things, healthy in a way. I mean, it's the impetus for it might not be so great, but it's interesting stuff.
Coolness, very coolness, very, very coolness. Here, by the way, is actual video of a coffee shop on 7th on 7th Avenue.
Where is this?
This is 7th Avenue. People are bringing their CRTs.
I
think this was a joke. This is an improv troupe, but they thought this will be funny. Let's all just move into the Starbucks on the 7th Avenue and see what people say.
People's faces are great.
Really, dude?
Like, oh
really,
boy.
Dude?
Okay.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
Really, dude? He's got a PC. Oh my gosh, a tower case. But they're not stopping him.
No.
Dude, you can't set that up in here. They're not paid enough to stop these guys. It's fine, whatever you want to do, man. Just buy a coffee.
Some guy thought it was just there for the patrons.
This is mine. Yeah, it's not the terminal. Yeah, once you get more than one guy doing that, it's a joke, right? He's booting Windows 95. I like it. All right. Let's see. I think. Oh, we have to do the Office updates. Then we can do the back of the book.
Okay.
This will be quick because we have no idea what was updated.
I know. So Microsoft did this blog post yesterday and said, here's all the stuff that's new in Office in July. And there was so much stuff. I know.
Have fun with this.
I also don't think all of this is
stuff.
New for July either.
Yeah.
Let's call out a couple that were interesting, though. Some of the inking stuff in OneNote was very interesting. Now you can actually handwrite equations with a pen, and it gives you step-by-step instructions how to solve them.
Yeah,
which is that's pretty cool. Yeah. What else do we see? Windows Information Protection, which is that feature that used to be called Enterprise Data Protection, is coming to Office. I don't think it's
on Windows Mobile, which is a big
on
deal.
Windows Mobile. Yep. I don't think it's there yet, but I think it says coming too soon, right? Yeah. What else was there? The new contact cards that are similar to what's in Delve are coming to Outlook, I believe. That was that new people experience stuff that they mentioned in the blog post.
Right. Outlook on the web.
Yep. Outlook on the web. Starting with Outlook on the web.
The bedazzle effect you can do at OneNote Mobile. So you can write like a rainbow.
Oh, yeah. That's cute.
Exciting.
Visio Online Preview. For people who use Visio, this is a big deal. Now available to anybody. It's going to be available to anybody who has access to Office Online as part of your Office 365 business subscription. So a lot of people, they've been, and a Visio for the iPad. We laugh about Visio, but so many people use Visio, and they really want Visio on all their platforms and in their browser. So
it looks like they're going to get it.
People are excited. People are excited. in-app assistance and yeah. Oh, and then the other thing we should mention is the new preview rings coming.
Right.
To Office. So Office has an insider program like the Windows Insider program, somewhat similar. And now Microsoft is bringing the fast ring to people who are in the Office Insider program. So Office Insider is only for people who use Office 365 Home and Personal. Sorry, Office 365 Home and Personal. It's not for the business customers. They have this thing called First Release that's their equivalent to that. But Office Insider program for every platform, for iOS, Mac, Windows 10 Mobile, all are getting these 2 rings now, which is pretty cool. So if you aren't in it and you want to be a guinea pig for testing Office stuff, you can now choose slow ring or fast ring.
The amazing thing about this is we've complained every month, there's this explosion of new stuff for Office across platforms. It's in the desktop suites on Mac and Windows. It's on Windows for, mobile. It's on iPhone. It's on iOS. It's on the web. It's everywhere. Every month. It's just hard to keep track. And literally what they're doing with the fast ring is saying if the builds are not coming fast enough for you, we have this new option. It's like you can get the stuff even faster.
Even faster, yep.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so if you really want to know all the stuff they announced in July for Office, you should go look at blogs.office.com, and you can read the lengthy and detailed post on all this stuff, because we did not even do it justice. There was tons of stuff. Plus patches, all the Office patches for July too.
Right.
A lot of stuff.
All right. Back of the book time. Let's start with Paulie here. Paulie boy, got a tip of the week there.
So, a month or so ago, maybe I might have even been away when this happened, but in the course of working on the updates to the Windows 10 Field Guide, right, for the anniversary update, I was struck by how Cortana, which is a feature I actually don't pay a lot of attention to on the PC, had changed. And in previous versions of Windows 10, even if you did an express install of the OS, you were not, and signed into your Microsoft account, you were not signed into Cortana. Cortana was not on by default. You could just use a simple search experience instead. And you could opt in. And they were very clear, I think, despite all the privacy issues you've heard about Windows 10. We're very clear about what that meant and what information they needed to have access to and why it makes sense for a digital assistant to be able to access your information. In Windows 10 1607, Cortana is not off by default. It doesn't automatically suction onto your Microsoft account unless you've already enabled that. But it's not off by default, and you cannot get rid of it. Like, you can't disable Cortana. And so I've gotten some questions. I kind of asked that open question on Twitter first, a month or so ago. Is this true? I mean, is everyone else saying this? And it is true. And I've had people asking me, well, I don't want Cortana. I don't like Cortana. How do I get rid of it? And you actually can't remove it, but you can, of course, hide it. Just right-click the taskbar, go to the Cortana choice, and you can see the different options you have. You can have a search box. You can have a button. You can just hide it. And honestly, the funniest thing about Cortana is even if you really do want to use it, there's almost no reason to have it on your taskbar. I think the reason it's there is to advertise it to people who don't know any better, because it is a new feature, and I think Microsoft wants to get people using it and so forth. But you can enable it with your voice. You can do Windows key plus C. You can access search through the Start menu as before. Anyone, I think Windows 7 and beyond, I think, or maybe Windows Vista, you hit the Start button and you start typing, and you can search right from the Start menu, and that still works. So there's almost no reason to have it there. It's just taking up space.
I like getting the little greetings, don't you?
You like getting the little greetings?
Hey, MJF. Yeah, no.
I don't know.
I like it.
I think, well, the ability to talk to your computer is not a bad one. In fact, it's kind of interesting. If you want to use Cortana over the lock screen, for example, you actually have to enable Hey Cortana. It's the only way it works. You can't go up to a lock screen and start typing stuff in. I am literally.
No, I don't even mean
by the way,
verbal
Cortana
ones.
is triggering on my computer as I'm talking. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I don't even mean verbal. I mean just like if you only type, you see like, hey, MJF, or hey, it's MJF.
I got to tell you what this thing says. Cortana heard its name.
Yeah.
And it just it couldn't figure out what I was saying, so it launched a Bing search, and this is what the Bing search was for. It's the only way it works. You can't go up to a lock screen and start typing stuff.
Oh my God, Cortana's become self-aware.
Yep.
So people in the chat room are pointing out rightly that group policy edit would let you disable Cortana, but that's only for people who have Windows Pro or Enterprise, right? You can't. Most people can't.
I think they removed.
Oh no, right.
They removed group policy edit.
Yeah, that's
with 1607 for Cortana, right?
Oh really?
Yeah. I believe so.
You can't even use GPE to do it.
Honestly, if you don't want it, you can get rid of it.
Right.
It's not a big deal. I mean, look. Yeah. I think the thing people need to understand is that Microsoft didn't make Cortana so that it could not be a core feature of Windows. It's, it's going to be integrated more deeply into Windows every step forward. That's the way it is. Yep. So don't be surprised by this. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. It's okay. I think the only thing I find a little troubling is if I want to search for a document, like I have one that I search for a lot, like cdkeys.txt. It's interesting. It will come up if you have Cortana, because you can search against online sources. If I had this file, which I do actually up in OneDrive, I could search for it from Cortana and it would find it on OneDrive, even if it wasn't synced to my PC. And there are some benefits to that, but I get it. I think the goofiest thing is if you just want to use search for local files, you have to be very explicit. And there's no way to set it to always do this. You get your search results, and then you have to click the documents filter, just to see documents. Yeah. You could always type documents : name of documents, I guess, but that's a lot of work.
Well, I don't want to do any work, that's for sure.
Good. Let's play some games.
Let's play some games next.
In the app pick department, I should and will mention that the Battlefield 1 open beta went live today on Xbox One and PC, and actually on PS4 as well. It's pretty limited in that there's really only one map, and there are only two map or game modes. And if you're a Call of Duty person like me, you'll kind of see all the things in Battlefield that you'd never liked in the past, like gigantic maps, and you spend 5 minutes running across this virtual world, and then you get blown away by a sniper, and then you have to start at 5 miles away again, and you run back, and so it's that kind of stuff. But Battlefield 1 is this is the game that takes place in World War I, and the graphics, the presentation, it's awesome. Like, it's really cool. Like, you can ride around in vehicles. I saw two biplanes having a fight over us and diving down right above us as they were fighting, with the bullets strafing the ground. You can ride on horses. It's pretty amazing. So it's not clear when this is going to end. It will be at least 4 days. It could be a week or a month. I don't know, but it's worth trying out. It's pretty cool looking. On a related note, PlayStation Now, which is sort of like Xbox One game streaming with some big changes, is available now on the PC. And what this allows you to do is stream from the cloud, not from a console, but from PlayStation's or Sony's service, PlayStation 3 games to your PC. I think it's on the Mac too, and it was previously on the PlayStation 4, but also on the Vita, I think the PS Vita handheld. You can get a PlayStation controller, which you can add to your PC, USB, or with a dongle. I guess I've been told you can use an Xbox controller, which actually makes this very interesting. But it's to be kind of a way to go back and check out a bunch of PlayStation games maybe you never played. It is a subscription service. So you have to pay for it, although there's a sale right now, and you can get a 7-day trial for free. And then finally, the app raise and pick this week is Office Lens, which is kind of a classic, but it's been ported to various platforms over the past couple of years. But this version now is a UWP app. It's a Universal Windows Platform app. And that means that it runs on Windows 10 Mobile, obviously, but it also runs on PCs, and it runs on HoloLens, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what the usage case is for scanning receipts with a HoloLens thing on your head, but I suppose it's possible.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, maybe someday you could do it on your Xbox, and you could use your Kinect to scan your your documents or whatever. But anyway, they just updated it as a Universal Windows Platform app, so you can grab that now.
And by the way, the chat room congratulates you, Mary Jo, on containing your enthusiasm during this previous.
I thought I did a nice job. listened. I was observant.
I forgot to take you off camera, and I apologize.
Okay.
Usually, on
It's
Xbox
like
stuff, I
Xbox
take you
World
off.
War I.
Hey, I wasn't swigging beer, at least.
No, yeah, you held your own quite well.
She
Now,
arranges like a series of shots in front of her, and every time I say something about it,
now you can Hadoop Paul into semi-consciousness. Yep, a Hadooper.
Semi-catatonic
We call it a Hadooper.
Um,
Enterprise pick of the week.
Yay. Okay, so enterprise pick of the week is for people who are currently running VMware's vSphere hypervisor. Microsoft's doing this limited time promotion. It's a 9-month promotion. It kicks off tomorrow, September 1st. And if you are running vSphere on Windows Server and you want to switch to Microsoft's Hyper-V, they're going to sweeten the deal by giving you a free license to Windows Server Data Center, the 2016 version. So Windows Server 2016 isn't even out yet. It's coming out at the beginning of October, we think. They're going to announce it officially at Ignite, and then they're going to roll it out the first week of October. But if you want to start kicking the tires, you can check out the Technical Preview 5 version of Windows Server 2016. Here's the caveat to this free deal, because you know they're not just going to give you a license to Windows Server Data Center, which is their most expensive SKU. The caveat is if you want to get this free version, you have to buy software assurance. So you get the license for Data Center for free, but you still have to buy software assurance. Still, it's a little carrot there. If you have somebody in your IT department, you can say, hey, you want to get a free license to the Data Center edition? All we have to do is buy software assurance, which is the volume licensing plan that Microsoft offers. Covers things like upgrades and offers you other benefits of tools and such for a period of 3 years, I believe. So that's my enterprise pick.
Nice. Did we, Paul? I'm sorry. Did I skip your app raisin pick of the week, or did you get it in?
no, I got it.
I was Hadoopered. Hadoopered.
He was Hadooped up.
And now your codename pick of the week.
Codename pick is Havana this week. And Havana, our friend, the walking cat, who we talk about a lot, says was the code name for this new Microsoft Garage app called Cache. I don't think we talked about Cache on the show last week, but if you know about Microsoft Garage, it's this incubator that Microsoft has where people who work there can do these hacking projects and then bring them out to the public through the Microsoft Garage. Cache is this clipboard manager, which I think is a replacement for the thing that Brad Sams loved called Microsoft Clip that they never brought to market. It lets you copy and paste multiple things to a clipboard and then use that clipboard across all different platforms. Right now, this Cache app, which is what I think is codenamed Havana, is in like a limited beta test. So if you go and you sign up and request an invitation, you can probably get into the Cache test. And this week, if you are not interested in the Cache app, there were 5 more Garage apps that Microsoft rolled out. They're just rolling out tons of these. So if you go to their Garage site, you could find information on 5 more projects that are all invitation only. They have things like an app for exploring your photos that are stored in OneDrive and revisiting them. They have a project for viewing and attaching, sharing OneDrive files with people who are using Gmail. That's called Project Copenhagen. There's a Write Ideas app, which is for students who want to preview their writing assignments. There's a whole bunch of other things there. You can go check them out. They're all free. They're what they are, though, is experiments. So there's no guarantee that Microsoft's going to keep these on the market, any of these. It's all based on user feedback and usage. So if it gets good feedback, a particular app, it's likely that they're going to continue to make it available across platforms. Another thing to note is many of these Garage apps are iOS and Android apps. Some of them are also Windows apps and Windows mobile apps, but I'd say quite a few are Android and iOS.
Yeah, a lot of the Garage stuff is amazingly wonderful on iOS.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I think we've earned our beer for the week. I'm ready.
We have. And
yes.
Today, Paul is doing the beer pick.
What? Oh, man. I'm going to have to change all my macros.
Finally.
Okay. Okay.
we have a new, or sort of new local brewery out in Framingham called Jack's Abbey, which is out where Mary Jo's from, or nearby, right? Ashland, I think.
Yep, Ashland. Yep.
And my wife and I have been meaning to go out there for quite a while.
You're from
and we
Ashland?
finally. What's
I
that?
didn't know that.
Yep.
I love Ashland.
Well,
Ashland,
Really?
Mass.
Oh.
Massachusetts, not Oregon.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. Continue, Paul.
it's okay.
Forget I said anything.
Ashland is next to Framingham, Massachusetts.
It is.
I believe borders right on
I
Framingham.
thought you meant Ashland. All right.
So we went out this weekend, and it's actually a beautiful facility. It's reminiscent of some of the places I've been out to in Fort Collins, where they have great breweries. Very modern, kind of a beer hall look. There's outdoor seating and indoor seating, and you can get souvenirs like T-shirts and stuff like that. But and I should mention too that the food is, they have food, and the food is fantastic. Even if you don't like beer, if you're in the area, it would be worth going there just to check out. The food is great. I was really kind of blown away by that. Jack's Abbey makes a wide variety of beers. In fact, there's a lot more stuff in the brewery than I've ever seen out in the world. In fact, a lot of times with any brewery, really, like you'll see the really popular 1 or 2 beers out and about, but and a lot of that stuff is the stuff I don't really care about, right? Like the kind of hoppy IPA type stuff or whatever. So a lot of the stuff that they make was not of a lot of, of interest to me. But then when we got there, we tried a bunch of different stuff. And this one, Brewery Maker, is my kind of beer in that it's very much like a barley wine beer, which I've said before is really one of my favorite kind of beers. And it's another one of the other local breweries that I go to makes a great barley wine beer called Fortis Pagus. But this is, Brewery Maker is not technically a barley wine beer, but it does share a lot of the characteristics, like very high on alcohol, very sweet, kind of a sugary kind of effect. And it's a great, and they serve it in this cute little snifter. It's really neat because we did tastings, and then my wife and I both got one beer afterwards, and I got this one again. It was so great.
Mm. They have other ones in that series
That's
too.
an empty snifter.
It is. The other ones in that series have great names too. They have Baby Maker and Bride Maker.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now Brewery Maker.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, this
Okay.
was more like a sleep maker.
Yeah.
So it's pretty high alcohol because it's a
Yeah.
barley wine-ish.
It's probably over 12%, is it?
It was. I just had it open. I just closed it. I'm sorry. It's high. I bet it's 13-ish.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, 13.5.
13.5.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's entry level for me, but that's good.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning. Well, there you go. Brewery Maker from some brewery in Ashland,
Jack's Abbey.
Massachusetts.
Jack's
Abbey.
Abbey.
Jack's
It's
Abbey.
in Framingham. technically.
Framingham.
Yeah.
Down there by Framingham there. Incidentally, thank you to Trapezius Milkington for this picture
Oh,
of a portable
Yeah.
C64 at
Yeah.
Starbucks.
That's
they
great.
actually made those in a very limited run. The
Really?
SX, I think it was an SX64, if I'm
Wow.
not mistaken.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Luggable.
Luggable C64.
Those were the days.
My friends, we've come to the end of this fabulous edition of Windows Weekly, but I thank you so much for being here. Now, we're moving next week. We're going to move temporarily for 1 week only to a special time because of
Oh,
Apple.
right. I thought you meant you were moving. I'm like, Leo,
We're
you just
moving.
moved.
I hate this studio.
What are
We're
you
going
talking about?
across town. We're going to do the North Side studio. No, we're because Apple announced finally that they're going to do an event on Wednesday morning. So we'll just flip-flop Windows Weekly and Mac Break Weekly. So if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the iPhone, so that's great.
Yeah, it'll avoid that whole conversation for a week.
I hear it looks almost exactly like the new one. Let's spend 4 hours on it.
Yeah. Well, we will. We have to. It's
no,
our
no.
job. But
Sure.
you don't have to. You don't have to suffer. So
I'll probably do a little thing on Twitter.
Yeah. I always, you know what?
Yeah, you will.
When we cover these Apple events, I always have one window dedicated to Paul Thurrott's Twitter.
Yeah. I call it the Apple Storm.
Snarkagram.
Yeah.
So 11 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday for the next Windows Weekly. 11 a.m. Pacific Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1800 UTC, and it'll appear on your feed a little early, but you can listen if you download it. You can listen whenever you want. You don't have to change your schedule. I think that's the only program. Is there other programming notes? Oh yeah, you're going to be doing Ignite. You got the word.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. We're going to do Windows Weekly live at the Microsoft Ignite conference in Atlanta the last week of September. So at our usual slot on Wednesday, September 28th, we'll be broadcasting live from the show. And so anybody who's at Ignite, you can come and be in the audience. And it's free. You don't need tickets or anything. We're also going to have a meetup.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, good. Sorry.
Also going to have a meetup probably right after we record Windows Weekly that day. So we'll let you know when we have that secured. But yeah, September 28th.
Yeah,
Bookmark.
I don't want to say I'm excited to go to Atlanta per se, but I am curiously excited to go to Atlanta.
No, that'll be a good time to go. You don't want to go now. It's too hot. But September 28th.
I don't mean like I mean I'm excited because it's Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually kind of excited to travel.
It's your time zone. That'll help.
I know. How
That'll
awesome
help.
is that? That never happens.
I know. That's great. No.
Although actually it's happened twice this year, hasn't it? We went to Toronto
Oh, that's true.
in July, which is this is kind of neat. Is it too early to mention November?
What's in November?
Vaguely.
You can mention it.
So Mary Jo and I and others, I think Brad's going to, but there'll be a bunch of people. We're doing a couple of shows in Haarlem with 2 A's, the Netherlands, which is next to, very close to the Amsterdam.
I want to go.
And we don't have any details per se about our exact schedule, but obviously we're going to have some kind of a meetup, something there.
Nice. Oh, the beer will
I've got
be
some
good
favorite
there.
places in Amsterdam, like Elsa's or something, which might be too small for meetup, but I've got some vague ideas about things I'd like to do out there. But we'll do something.
The Amstel lights on me, baby.
Right.
Actually,
So
we're going
that's
to be going to Vegas too.
mid-November, right?
Yeah, it's like it's mid to late November. It's later in the month than I would have thought, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Right before
you know,
Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
And also, we're going to Vegas
Yeah.
in late October.
Wow, you guys are busy. And these are all Microsoft events.
Yeah, Microsoft themed events, at least. Yeah.
I am not going to be with you on September 28th, Alas. When you're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I will
forgot you're
Yeah.
going to be gone.
But you're going to Paris, right?
By the 28th, I think I might be in Russia.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, we leave on the 18th. We're in Paris until the 22nd. Then
Yeah.
we go to Stockholm.
Oh,
and
nice.
we get on a boat and we sail to Helsinki on the 23rd.
Wow.
And Russia on the 25th, 6th, and 7th.
Oh,
I guess
wow.
I'll be
Part of,
leaving
like,
St.
St. Petersburg, or are you gonna go to
3 days in
Moscow?
St. Petersburg. I guess we
Wow.
can take a train to Moscow, but I think I'm going to stick with St. Petersburg. And then
Yeah, that's
actually
cool.
I'll be in Estonia on the 28th, I think.
Wow.
Jeez, wow.
If it's
Well, I'll be in Atlanta, so
if it's
screw
Wednesday,
you.
it
Laporte.
must be Estonia.
Yeah, we're going to be in Atlanta.
Yeah, and I'm going to be jet lagged.
Yeah, that's a big trip. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. So,
Yeah.
but Father Robert's going to fill in, so that's the
Okay.
good news. Yeah, he's good.
We kind of know that guy.
You know him. You've heard.
Yeah.
Him. I have a video of him actually at a Starbucks playing Plants vs Zombies.
Nice.
He's really good. No, I just this guy didn't bring a big setup, but he maybe had a few too many frappuccinos. I'm thinking
Yeah.
Maybe he's. What is he doing?
he's playing. I think
Or
he's
is this
playing.
sped up? Oh, this is sped
No,
up.
no. You see the Starbucks baristas behind him moving at a normal speed.
Man.
This is
Right.
what kids. This is what too much caffeine will do to you.
Yes.
And then you look at what he typed, and it's like a giant email that says "All work and no play makes Jack a dull."
He's writing his novel.
Oh, man.
All right, folks. Enough. You can stop tweeting me weird pictures of people at coffee shops. The message is received. We'll be back again next Tuesday at 11 a.m. and then after that Wednesday, of course, 11 a.m. Pacific for Windows Weekly. If you can't be here in person and in the chat room at irc.twit.tv, you can always join us after the fact. We make on-demand video available at the website twit.tv/ww, or subscribe. Every podcatcher will know about Windows Weekly because we've been doing this 10 years or something. 8 years. Let's see, episode 481. Yeah, more than 8 years. 9 years almost. No, 10. No, almost 10 years.
It's almost 10. Is it like?
Yeah. 9 plus years. Wow.
Was it 2006? It was right before Vista came out.
Yeah. Nice. Well, here we go. Our 10th anniversary coming up in a little later on.
It actually probably is pretty soon.
Yeah, 481. If we did every week.
Well, we didn't do every week in the beginning.
So
it kind of was a slow boil at first.
Slow boil.
You know. Well, no, I mean, I think we were, just trying to figure it out.
I think we were. I know that we wanted to be every week. If we couldn't be, that was just something going on.
No, I remember a friend of mine joking and saying, "Why don't you call it Windows Biweekly?"
Oh, we missed a couple of episodes and they got upset. Big deal. September
people
28th,
are usually sensitive online.
2006 was our first episode. September 28th, 2006. So you're right, Paul. It is.
That's literally that day?
That's the day we're doing the show.
At Ignite.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
our 10th anniversary.
Oh, we got to do something for the anniversary show for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
I think what we're going to do is I'm going to reinstall Windows Vista and I'm going to look at the new Office ribbon.
You should.
I'm looking at it. It's the show title was The Road to Release Candidate 1.
Yeah.
Yep. That's great.
It's winsupersite.com. And look at all you've written on Vista. I mean, there's 100 articles there just on Vista.
Sure. Well, thank Microsoft for taking so long to develop.
So there you go. And by the way, that lives on thanks to the miracle of the internet.
Yep.
10 years. I'm not going to be here. I feel terrible. Well, I'll send you a postcard from Estonia.
Yeah, that's
Yes, please.
All right, kids. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Remember, Tuesday for Windows Weekly. Bye-bye.